Last season on Along for the Ride, we tracked the Kubota Cup on its inaugural swing from coast to coast. A first of its kind in Canada, the 8-city tour pitted the country's top equestrian show jumpers against emerging stars and some of the world's best course designers for over $400,000 in purse money and prizes. With Tammy Phillips winning the Western Conference, John Pierce taking the East, and Ian Miller emerging as national champion, the standard has been set. This week, the second season of the Kubota Cup kicks off in Brandon, Manitoba, as Western Canada's top riders battle for prize money and points in the first challenge of the Kubota Cup's Western Division. Join us as we ride alongside defending Western champion Tammy Phillips, veteran Frank Hoff, and first-time rookie Jenna Thompson in their quest to win the Kubota Cup.
I lie awake at night. You ought to know the things I see. Come along for the ride. You'll see it all when you're with me. I lie. Awake at night.
Late March, Brandon, Manitoba. The prairie winter lingers. And while it may not feel like it, spring is here. You just have to read the signs on the river, in the fields, on the streets, and at the Royal Manitoba Winter Fair, a week-long event that highlights the region's agricultural past and present. As ever, there's something for everyone. Of the fair's numerous attractions, one of the biggest is Saturday's $35,000 Kubota Cup.
In only its second year, the Kubota Cup Series has established itself as the premier show jumping series in Canada. We compete in over 7 cities, have $400,000 in purse money, and the East and West winners take home an RTV. With national finals are held in Toronto at the Royal Winter Fair.
I think it's a great series that's instrumental in developing young horses and riders to the international level.
Brandon is the first of 3 stops and on Kubota's Western Swing, and a poor performance in this first Grand Prix would make it extremely difficult to win the series.
You've got the Queen of Brandon here, Karen Cudmore, to deal with. She's difficult anytime out. Mike Grenier is a top-notch competitor.
There's Frank Salinger is here.
Gary Brewster's got a string of some very nice horses.
I'm here. Rossi and I are very intimidating.
My horsepower is good, yeah. I think my horsepower is better than last year. And I think my chances might be better in the West, so I'm declaring West.
I think it's going to be a very difficult competition to win.
And of course, making it that much tougher this week is Leopoldo's course designing.
Leopoldo Palacios, he's one of the greatest course designers in the world.
Leopoldo is known for making quite difficult courses.
His courses cause chaos.
I expect Leopoldo to have no mercy.
There'll be no prisoners taken, none.
It's an indoor track here at Brandon, and it's really small, so the jumps come up really quick out of the corner. Perfect for Leopoldo to make some technical lines.
But always in a way to is fair for the welfare of the horse and the security of the riders.
When Leopoldo says he's going to build a fair course, still makes me shudder a fair amount.
I have ridden a few of Leopoldo's courses. They're very difficult. In Toronto at the Kubota Cup National Final, I rode one and failed miserably. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty tough for Saturday.
If the final is 10, here will be 9. I always have an agreement with God. He don't do courses and I don't do miracles. I don't know how to, but I hope we have a nice jump off. Good luck.
It's Tuesday, 4 days before the first Kubota Cup of the season, and Tammy Phillips is back in Brandon after enjoying a career year that included winning the Kubota Cup Western Championship.
Reeves, I think the only thing I've got to pick up is some boot polish. Boot polish. Last year was definitely the best year of my career. Starlet won the leading Canadian Chrysler Award, and of course Lucas won the Western Championship for Kubota. Because of the consistency in all of those Grand Prix, I was actually named to the short list for the Canadian equestrian team. Yeah, some things have changed from last year, some things haven't. I've still got Starlet and Lucas. I still work ridiculously long hours. But the higher profile has helped out business quite a bit. I have more students and more opportunities with horses. You know, the drive got a little bit longer from Strathmore to Brandon. Normally, the Strathmore, Alberta to Brandon, Manitoba drive takes about 12 hours. This time it took 18. We were leaving Strathmore, and well, it was like 9 o'clock at night, and our planned stop for fuel was Medicine Hat. It was getting late. We were looking for the Tim Hortons, really focused on the coffee, kind of forgot about the fuel. And each little town we kept passing by, the gas station's closed. The gas station's closed. So when it said, you know, 0 kilometers to empty, and we were going for about 20 minutes on that, we just pulled over and had to stop at the gas station and wait until it opened. It was, you know, just a 6-hour rest. It was fine. Pulling off the national championship would be pretty challenging. I mean, we have to be able to do especially well here in the first Kubota Cup at Brandon. And then, of course, we would love to follow up with our win in Edmonton like last year. And then, yeah, Twin Oaks has to be right up there as well. So it's a long road. This is Lucas. He's obviously found his treats that were there for him, so, you know, smart guy. The last 2 weeks of showing at Spruce Meadows in Calgary, he had a ribbon in every class, so he stayed in the top 6, and he's looking fantastic. Luke's ready to rumble. Starlet, on the other hand, was really not good, and I'm, you know, a little bit puzzled about that because she was fantastic last fall, so I feel like I'm back to square one with her. And hopefully she's feeling that the stars and the moon have aligned and that she will jump well this week. Right? Right, little girl? Some days she'll come out and she'll jump amazing. Other days, not so much. And you'd think by now, since I raised her and bred her, that I would have this figured out. But you know what? I don't. So it's a mystery. He is so consistent. He goes out and tries his best every day. Her, if she feels like it. She may go in the Kubota Cup and she may not. I have to wait and see. Hi, yeah, sorry. He's a little jealous of her. One of the major things that could impact on my success this year is actually the sale of the horses. Because they did so well last year, and they have a lot of Grand Prix wins and credits to their name, they become a lot more valuable, and you have people that potentially may want to buy them. You know, if he got sold, obviously it would be up to Starlet to try and pull through in the Kubota, which she can do, but she's just not as dependable and definitely not as consistent. It's a really tough thing. I mean, him and I have been through a lot. It'd be really difficult to sell him. It'd be very sad. Yeah, maybe.
Tuesday night, it's the Gambler's Choice, the first of 4 successive money classes before the Kubota. Riders make their own course, each jump worth varying points. As per her typically unpredictable nature, Starlet's on form. Tammy takes a gamble and goes for the Joker jump, a move that can cost her a precious 200 points. The pair ride clean for 640 points, good for a first-place finish.
She was fantastic. She jumped super out there, so excellent. It's a good way to start the week.
It's Wednesday. The MTS Cup is about to start. It's a tough competition, and Tammy should be getting ready to ride Lucas. But he's back in the barn.
I was going to ride Lucas tonight, but I decided to put him in for tomorrow night so I could have a good look at the competition and save him so that he'll still be fresh for Saturday.
With 8 riders making the jump off, Tammy's pleased she withdrew. Thursday night, it's the ATCO Cup, a level 6 open jumper. And Tammy's aboard Lucas, who's been strong and steady coming into Brandon. The strategy of giving him last night off is about to be put to the test.
Luke was not what I needed tonight, so I'm a little concerned about that, but I'm going to put him in again tomorrow night and just see how it goes. Probably he will go Saturday, but if it's worse than it was tonight, he won't.
This is a serious development. The possibility of Tammy not riding Lucas in the Kubota will have a major impact not just on Tammy's chances this year, but all the Western riders. Friday afternoon, Tammy and Lucas hit the warm-up ring for some much-needed schooling. Friday night, Tammy's 7th to go in on Lucas. It's an okay ride, but with 4 faults and the scorching time of 53.799 seconds, Lucas delivers the 2nd fastest run of the night, just good enough for a 9th place finish.
This week was a little bit of a surprise because I came into it thinking that Lucas was on the money and that he was set up to do really well. And Starlet, well, I didn't know what she would do. She ended up winning the first class and jumped fantastic last night, and she looks great for the Kubota tomorrow. First class that Lucas did, it was kind of a disaster. Tonight he was a lot better, and I think we've got a chance for tomorrow.
The rider's life is an endless search for resolve, results, and horsepower. Veteran Frank Hoff has been through it all more than once. But 3 days to go before the Kubota, it looks like he's finally hitting his stride.
The Gambler's Choice went very well last night. I'm just going back down in that division so that we keep the horse's confidence up. If you are not in the Grand Prix ring, basically, people forget who you are, or you fall by the wayside a little bit. About 4 years I was without a Grand Prix mount, and to finally get Tamiro is really exciting to have a nice young horse in the barn again that I can call my own and ride in the big classes. I've basically been involved with horses all my life. I started out in the Pony Club in Saskatoon and rode with very good trainers there that were Olympic riders. I've tried a little bit of everything that has anything to do with horses. I've trained race horses and the show horses. I like the show horses the best. Ian Miller was probably the biggest influence in show jumping and teaching me about horses. In the last year that I worked for Ian, he took a little bit of a risk on a horse that turned out to be the greatest horse he ever owned, named Big Ben. The thing that stuck with me most is go with your intuition on horses and the feel for what you have for them. About a year ago, I got a call from a friend of mine who worked for Jonathan Asselin in Calgary, and he happened to have a horse that was coming off surgery and time off. Tamiro had an injury in his stifle area, and he had a chip taken out of there, and he had about a year and a half to 2 years off without doing any physical work with a rider on his back.
I was actually quite skeptical that he would ever be able to jump again.
He's a Belgian warm blood. He was bred to the nines, we call it. Both the top and the bottom sires are Olympic caliber horses, and he could be an Olympic horse if I could get him back into shape.
So Frank decided to take a shot on him and take him over, and it's helped both of us out. It's given Frank something to work on that's a talented jumper.
When I first sat on Tamiro, he still had a hitch to his get along, and I thought I might have made a mistake and was wondering whether he would ever come back to being physically fit enough to jump big jumps again. We've worked the kinks out, and now he's back probably about 80%. The hurdles going for the rest of the week would be in the size and the technical aspect of the courses coming up. Talent-wise, Tamiro's, there isn't anything out there that's unjumpable for him. He can jump anything that they can build. Greenness might catch up with us. I haven't been in the Grand Prix ring in about 3-4 years. Confidence-wise, that's got to come into play a little bit, but hopefully I'm old enough and wise enough to be over that.
Wednesday night, with Tamiro taking it easy back at the barn, Frank takes in the Meter 20 MTS Cup as a spectator. Thursday afternoon, the accumulator class features some top talent, including Gary Brewster, Haley Alfonso, and Frank Stellinger. Frank and Tamiro have a fantastic ride and pull out a huge victory.
Oh, he's wonderful. He'll jump anything you point him at. We ended up in first place, so I'm happy.
With the win, Frank and Tamiro have finished up their week's fine-tuning. Tonight is another class to watch. More rest for Tamiro until the big Grand Prix tomorrow.
Tamiro's progressed well through the week. He was first in the accumulator class yesterday, and I feel pretty good about the Kubota Grand Prix, and I think he should do well.
It's Thursday morning, 2 days before the Kubota, and 17-year-old Jenna Thompson is working off the winter kinks. After a 7th place finish in the Gambler's Choice Tuesday night, Jenna and Frost T have a lot more work to do.
In the Gambler's Choice, the first fence, she was a little spookier than I anticipated at first. There's so much to look at in that ring, right? There's all the kids and there's that big bowl in the middle of the ring, which all the horses definitely look at. This is Frosty. Frosty, come here. Frosty's a 9-year-old Canadian warm blood. She's not very tall. She's very spunky and got a lot of fire in her. Frosty definitely comes with a lot of homework. She's very special is one of the words we use. Her breeding definitely leads into that. On her mom's side and her dad's side, she are very notorious for their bad behavior.
Frosty's a very difficult horse. She can be quite fearful of things.
The atmosphere definitely gets to Frosty. She feeds off it. The heavy horses really get to her. She gets really nervous. The strollers and all the people who want to pet her, it freaks her out a little bit. After a typical class on Frosty, we definitely have a lot of homework to do. We have got to go back to the drawing board. We discover a lot of technicalities that came up during the class, what she was looking at, how fresh she was. So I go back and I take those into account and I give her a good hack the next day. She usually has a day off the day after, so I can fine-tune a couple things. It's definitely a balance. I'm trying to get the best of both worlds without completely excluding the other one. The school is really demanding. So is Frosty. She's pretty high maintenance. She's not one of those horses that I can take a day off of and do homework, because then she's just so wild the next day.
You grab her and I'll grab the bucket.
I've got my mom here with me this week to help me out. She's been a real influence on my riding career. She helps out a lot.
I'm learning along with her, so some of the lessons are easier than others.
I'm also here with Jonathan, and he's just an outstanding horseman. He knows the works of this sport and like no one else. I mean, he's been to the Olympics and he's seen just about everything, so it's really nice to have him here and help me along. And normally I train with Jonathan all winter and I travel down south with him, but that wasn't the case this year. I was still in Calgary for most of the winter. I missed him a lot. The training was definitely needed.
Jenna, I think, has as good a chance as anybody. She's a very talented rider. She's riding a very capable horse. They're both a little maybe on the inexperienced side at that level, but I have the utmost of confidence in both of them, and I think she could be a winner.
Jenna is in her grade 12 year this year, so it has been difficult for her to manage school and the riding.
In an ideal world, I would have done quite a bit more riding before coming into Brandon. My main hurdle will definitely just be getting back into the flow of the riding. We're both a little rusty. We're not as used to the rhythm that you get into of the showing, so hopefully we'll pick that up. Definitely coming up to a bit of a crossroads, the school versus the riding. And that's always present in my mind. I'm, thinking about that a little bit this week. But, right now I'm just thinking about Saturday and everything I can do to prepare myself for that. I want to leave it on a good note, and Saturday's going to be big, so... And I guess I'll probably go with Saturday.
I know Jenna's a little unsure as to whether she should go in the Grand Prix or not tomorrow, but I can tell you that she's got the experience, she's got the know-how, she's got the ability, she's got the horse. She is going.
Thursday night, the Atco Cup. Leopoldo set a tough course. Jenna's third on Frost T. It's a decent ride with 2 rails and a quick time of 52 seconds. The pair end up with a strong 10th place finish. Friday night, the RBC Challenge. Third in, Frosty and Jenna. The track proves challenging, but the silver lining is that they made it through Leopoldo's course.
Jenna is ready, her horse is ready. I mean, you can't have a great class every time out, but I feel that you're ready, and so is your horse, and you'd be on it at the first jump.
Hopefully. So it was news to me just a couple minutes ago that I'll go in the Kubota tomorrow, and Jonathan said I'll go, and he actually said it with a lot of confidence, which I was a little surprised at. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to, put it all together.
It's Saturday. For the riders, a long week of getting ready is coming to a close. With the Kubota just hours away, Frosty gets a rest from his homework before Jenna digs into hers.
I'm just reading some biology. I'm studying a chapter called the genetic code and its translation. I got to test it when I get home, and I'm just trying to, squeeze in the little extra minutes I got, and then I'm going to go home, have a nap, and get ready for the class next.
All's quiet over Tammy's barn. With Starlet and Lucas both having rounded into form, both are enjoying a little downtime. As for Frank, the course map for the Kubota has been posted, and the butterflies are starting to churn.
Looks like it's going to be a really stout course tonight. It'll be quite big and quite technical. I feel pretty good, maybe a little nauseous right now, but all right.
Soon enough, it's showtime. As expected, Leopoldo squeezed a monster into the Brandon shoebox.
It's definitely pretty big, definitely technical. It's going to be interesting. There's no breathing room, so no room to screw up.
It starts well. But the triple or Kubota jump forces Frank to withdraw.
I voluntarily withdrew because there was no point. I mean, I had a couple rails out there and a little bit of trouble. Save him up, I'll let him get a little more experience and then try again.
Tammy and Starlet are second in. The ride ends with Starlet nudging a rail down for 4 faults, missing the jump off. Jonathan Aslin is next on Lolita. It's a great round. 2 riders later, Jonathan makes it back in time to see Jenna and Frost T head in. Jenna struggles in a big class, but she is determined to see it to the end.
Good girl.
19th in is Tammy and Lucas. Four faults and a pretty good time puts them in 5th place finish and 155 points. It's a great night for the fans, with only 3 riders, including rookie Emily George and veterans Gary Brewster and Karen Cudmore, making the jump off. Tammy, Frank, and Jenna will all leave Brandon with strong efforts and results that will pay off down the road. After an exciting and grueling week of obstacles and challenges, Tammy and Lucas finish 5th with 155 qualifying points, with Starlet close behind with 150 points for 6th place. Jenna and Frost T are 14th, earning 121 qualifying points towards the Kubota Cup. Frank Hoff and Tamiro didn't finish, but got 34 points for starting through the timers.
I asked a little bit too much at the end. We didn't withdrew from a class. Live to fight another day, I guess.
I thought it went all right tonight. I lost my rein going to that triple, so had a little problems there, but I made a couple green mistakes. Frost made a couple green mistakes, but I was happy with it. I tried really hard.
You know, I'm pretty happy with our results here in Brandon because the next couple of horse shows are outside, and that's much more our forte.
Next week, we're back in Brandon with rookie Haley Alfonso and veterans Gary Brewster and Mike Grenier. Make sure you're along for the ride.
And then we might as well grab Starlet and hack her to pig.
Yeah. Are you wearing pants?
As a matter of fact, I'm not. That's what we do in these stalls.